Alrighty, so we're going to be switching on all of these core muscles, back muscles as well, and doing a bit of release work to start off with. So we're going to start sitting. Helpful to have 2 yoga bricks if you've got them. Otherwise, maybe a bolster. All right, let's just start like this with our feet out in front, nice and wide, hands just behind us. Lift and roll the shoulders and sink them down into the back of the sockets. If it is helpful to have bricks under wrists for having your hands behind you, then that's an option. And we're just letting our knees lift and drop from side to side. Okay, so hopefully you'll feel there's a little bit going up into your back here. There we go. Window wiping into the hip joints. Now visualize, as you're doing this, visualize your femur, your thigh bone, going up into the cup of your pelvis. So keep going. So you're like that. You're just rotating. And we're getting into the muscles that go around those hip joints. Wanting. Okay, you'll need 2 bricks if you've got them. Okay, so massaging into, this is rectus femoris, this long muscle goes from the inside, across the knee, into the quadriceps, and also another muscle that goes from the inside of the knee right across the thighs into the lower back. Massage, nice wide feet. Beautiful, and then let's just pause on one side. Press down the inside of the knee into the ground so it feels like you're trying to roll your hip forward. Getting a little stretch right here. That's where we're looking for the stretch. And then the other side, up and over, pressing the inside of the knee down towards the ground. Getting that quadricep stretch. Very good. So this goes into the psoas muscles as well, the muscles that, those deep reptilian muscles. Okay, so come and sit with your legs apart. Now, if you find that you sort of slouch here, please grab a folded blanket. I'll just grab one so I can show you. Grab a folded blanket or a towel and slide it so the edge of the triangle is just underneath your pelvis, and you want to have the pubic bone at the front slightly dropping down, and you want to make sure that your bum cheeks are out to the side and your sitting bones, so the bones that you sit on, are lifted and spread so that we slightly roll forward. So those hip joints we've just been mobilizing, they're slightly rolling forward. If knees need to be a bit bent, you can always put bricks just underneath them. So if hamstrings are feeling a bit tight, just let your knees rest on something, yeah? So we're lifting and spreading the toes, rolling slightly forward, and we want to get that stretch through the inner thighs here and into the hamstrings. I like to do this. Interlace your hands. Imagine a big pot here, and it can be whatever you want. I like to imagine one of those wonderful big barrels of melted chocolate that a chocolate shop in Sydney used to have hot chocolates, and you could just go and get a little cup of this melted chocolate. So they had these big mechanical arms that just swirled around these massive vats of melted chocolate. It's called porridge stirring, but that's a bit boring, isn't it? Porridge. So nice open circles. And this is actually massaging into the lower belly as well. So if you have crampy, IBS-y, period pain, this is a really nice thing to do. So circling one direction and then the other direction. Try to keep your torso straight. So imagine your torso is a spoon and the torso is stirring around in the bowl of your pelvis. Big circles. Big circles, just waking up those leg muscles. All of them feed right into the pelvic bowl. Okay, let's take one leg. This is my right knee. If you need to prop it with your brick, please do so. What we don't want is the knees just kind of hanging in space. So if it doesn't come down easily, give it a bit of a prop. So we're going to go deeper into this inner thigh. These muscles go right up into the pelvic floor. So if they are tight and twingy, you can pretty much guarantee you're going to start getting bladder urgency, discomfort, difficulty eliminating, that kind of thing. So let's take the hand down towards the ankle. Keep those toes alive, vibrant, nice, vibrant soles of the feet, and do a lateral stretch up and over and fanning the rib cage to the side. So breathe now down here and then slide the breath up towards your armpit. Shoulders are down, and with each inhalation, it feels like you're kind of spreading the fan a little bit more. So our diaphragm here and our pelvic diaphragm here, they work together. But if this is all stuck because we've been at our desk too much, we can pretty much guarantee the poor pelvic diaphragm is not going to be functioning all that well. All right, let's just come up and over. You might use your brick to the other side. If you're feeling sprightly, push yourself all the way up. Otherwise, just down here. You just want to stretch the other side. Beautiful. Very good. And then we'll swap. Prop my knee if need be. Let's do this side. I need to prop my. I love props. Do whatever you need to do in order to keep your body comfortable. We just don't want to put, what we don't want is our body hanging in space. So if it's hanging in space, basically the hip flexors, the knee hanging in space, the hip flexors go, and we don't want that. All right, leg out to the side, nice vibrant toes, like so, and then up and over, lateral stretch, shoulder down. Breathe consciously. You are flaring those ribs, fanning them up and over. So we have most of our lung capacity down here at the back of the lower part of our lobes. So lungs. Most of the lobes are down here. So we want to consciously open up, breathe. Wriggle your jaw as you release that exhalation. Hi, Natalie. If you've got 2 bricks, you'll need them for this practice. Lovely. And then we'll go to the other side. So up and over. You might even push yourself up and over as well. Good. And slowly coming down. Slide onto hands and knees. Let's just, so Karen, I'm going to get you to do this and just massage your wrists around. The rest of you, give your hands a little pouring action. So just massage your hands so that you get into the wrists. Just put this up in here. Okay, now it can be helpful to just put the wrists, the heels of the hands on the edge of the brick. So if you have got any pain in the wrists, it could be helpful just to do that, yeah? If you're not putting any weight at all through your wrists, just come onto your forearms. First of all, cat and cow. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Cat and cow. Now, sitting bones, so the bones we've just been spreading, we want to spread them even more. Imagine you've got a triangle coming out of your bum and you're sliding your sitting bones up either side of that triangle. Slide the sitting bones up and wide. Now pull them back towards each other to the point of the triangle, which is here, just in front of your pubic bone. And then slide those sitting bones wide and then pull them towards each other. Now breathe in deeply into the lower lobes of the back of your lungs as you slide them wide, and breathe out as you draw them in. So slide wide, breathing in, And then as you breathe out, I'm going to get you to purse your lips and blow out as if you're blowing out a candle. Slide wide, breathe in through the back of your nostrils, and breathing out, blowing out a candle. Okay. Slide them wide and breathing out. Now, take that movement all the way up your spine, right through to the crown of your head. But start with the sitting bones and the tailbone. The back part of your pelvic floor attaches to your tailbone, bottom of your spine, and to your sitting bones. So focus on those bones, moving those bones. And then let the body ripple from that initial point. Breathing in and then breathing out. So that is actually fantastic, fantastic lengthening and strengthening through the pelvic floor. And let's just move it back slightly. So sink your bum towards your heels a little bit. And then as you round, bring your weight forward onto those wrists a little bit. So sliding backwards as you lift and spread, and then sliding forward as you breathe out. So breathing in and then breathing out. So you're just kind of stretching cat and cow along your mat slightly. Breathing in. I'm just going to use my bricks here. Breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Unfurl those toes and just swirl your tail around. So we're going into the hips, into the waist, and then rolling this movement up into your shoulders. Keep your head still. The whole body is swirling from your tail. So it feels like you're swirling your tail around and then the rest of your body is following. In one direction and then pause and then start just with the pelvis, little circles with the pelvis. And then as you make those circles a bit bigger, swirl the movement up into the ribs and then up into the shoulders and bend the elbows. And now you're rolling the whole body, Rinsing out all the tension. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Okay, so forearms on your bricks, or bolster if you haven't got bricks. Feet out to the side, so toes out to the side. And then you're sliding down until you feel the inner thigh stretch. Now don't push this. Sometimes I do this as a restorative pose, like that. And if you have got a bolster as well, it might be quite nice to just put it underneath you so it feels a bit safer. But we're looking to do quite a big stretch through the inner thighs, and I want you to be really vigilant with letting your jaw be loose, because the jaw is connected fascially down into the pelvic floor. We want to make sure that this area here at the back of the pelvic floor, these muscles are able to release. So very consciously melting like a candle, wax, slowly melting towards the ground. If you don't have your bolster, slide, but don't push yourself because you don't want to hurt yourself. Sigh the breath out, enabling the pelvic floor muscles, the inner thigh muscles to soften. Like that. Good. That's the way. Now bring your knees together, right together, and we'll just drop the hips from side to side. We just did the adductors, the inner thighs. Now we're doing the abductors, the outer thigh muscles. Just let those drape from side to side, right up into the hips. Whew. That's it. Alrighty, now bring your knees underneath the pelvis again. So keep your left forearm either on the ground or on your brick. Knees quite wide on your mat for stability. Take your right fingers onto your shoulder like that. Now drop the elbow down towards the mat. Now breathe in very consciously through the back of your nostrils. And as you breathe in, pull your elbow towards the ceiling. So we're opening up the diaphragm a bit more, massaging around the heart. We're going to the thoracic part of our spine. And this is the area that if we don't do this kind of stuff, we're in for potential heart problems down the track. This is also helping our posture because we're opening up these pectoral muscles so that we don't roll the shoulders forward. With forward rolled posture through the shoulders, our pelvis will always go underneath the head and the shoulders. So we just want to, this is helpful for so many reasons. So rotation upwards, deeply breathing in. We want to try and get a tiny bit further upwards each time we breathe. If you're okay, take the arm up towards the ceiling, see how that feels, and look down. So now we're stretching into the neck, opening up the inside of the shoulder. Let's do the royal wave, just rotating through the wrist here. Good. I'm just going to the upper back for a moment. So take this hand, slide it underneath your left arm, and let the shoulder, the back of the shoulder, just drop down onto the ground. Turn your head, tuck your chin right in. So the chin needs to come right down to your chest. Let your head just rest gently onto the ground, and then sort of push your shoulder into the ground. You might take this left hand onto your left hip and lift the elbow as well, maybe. We're just getting another twist through that thoracic area and now releasing the back of the shoulder. In this position, it's easy to put too much pressure on your neck, so please keep your chin tucked right in. Beautiful. Left hand back on the ground or on your brick. And then just unfurl the right arm. Just give it a little bit of a rinse here. Let's go backwards, like so. That's it. So we've sorted all this out. Good, we're done. Let's do the other side. Left fingers on left shoulder, elbow down. Breathe in for the rotation. So you're feeling it here across the bra strap and at the front of that left shoulder. Breathe in to rotate. Drop. Breathe in to rotate. See if you might go just 0.5 centimetre higher up towards the ceiling. Slow, full breath in. So the bigger the breath, the more rotation we'll get. Breathe slowly. That's it. Now let's just pause, look down at the ground. Maybe take the fingers up towards the ceiling too. See how that feels. Maybe do the royal wave. Massaging the wrist around. Good. And then take this top hand, take this left hand, thread the needle so hand goes underneath. Back of the shoulder onto the ground. Chin tucking right in here. Right in, and drop the head. And then this hand might go on the hip as well and maybe elbow up. So we're going right across here. This is really important because cardiovascular disease is the biggest killer of women, and we really just need to make sure that obviously we are doing movement and we're eating well and we're sleeping well, etc. But mobilization through this area, very important. And also diaphragm and pelvic diaphragm, they work together, like I keep saying. Okay, let's just come out of that. Slowly unfurling again, take the hand up towards the ceiling, big circles backwards. And now those shoulders should feel a bit looser. Okay, so pelvic floor and then deep core. So starting at the front of the pelvic floor, pubic bone, and then lower belly. So I'm going to get you first of all to just come onto your forearms, and we're just going to drop back so our sitting bones are wide, like so. And then I want you to do the action of stopping yourself weeing and do it as you puff the breath out of your pursed lips. And as you stop yourself weeing, draw your weight forward, so draw your pelvis slightly forward and feel like you're zipping up tight high-waisted jeans from the pelvic floor upwards at the front. And then we'll come down and you just unzip the jeans. So blowing the breath out, draw yourself forward, scooping lower belly, and then undo the jeans, belly's relaxed. Breathing out, zipping upwards, scooping, and then come back. Now your back doesn't bend, your back is staying pretty straight. Breathing out, coming forward, zipping up, and back. And breathing out, coming forward, zipping up. So this is the sensation we're going to be keeping now. Let's slide bricks underneath your knees. If you haven't got bricks, don't worry, you're just going to have your knees on the ground. Karen, you're going to be doing this instead and just putting your forearms onto the ground. We're going to be picking our knees up if we can. I'm putting my bricks under my knees this time so that you can really get the feeling of all of the work here is going to be pulling our legs off the ground. If you're doing what I'm doing, put your fists on the ground underneath your shoulders, directly under your shoulders, bend your elbows to the side slightly and tuck your toes. So chin is in, back of the head is in alignment with the rest of your back, so there's no dipping here, we're straight. And we are doing puffy breaths out like we're blowing out a candle. That activates the diaphragm. Oh, did you find? Maybe just put yourself on mute. Thanks, darling. Now, a little puffy breaths out. Stop yourself weeing. So start with the pelvic floor. Action is stopping yourself weeing. Scoop the contraction upwards, stopping, like zipping up your tight high-waisted jeans. Now push your fists into the ground to slightly straighten your elbows and see if you can suck your knees just a tiny bit off those bricks, just a tiny, tiny bit. If you're on the ground, it's just a tiny bit off the ground. Same action. It's just a little bit easier with the bricks, actually. Little sucking, sucking, sucking. Yeah? Whew. Keep puffing the breath out. Maybe you're swishing your knees together. And then drop down. Ah, well done. If you're doing this version, just take your elbows onto the ground. Moment to let go of wrists and shoulders. Belly's relaxed. Sitting bones nice and wide and lifted. Very good. Okay, I'm going to get you to come a bit lower. I'm going to use bricks again. So forearms can just be on the ground if you haven't got bricks. All right, bring your knees together and a little bit further back. Feet can be flat for this. Now take your right foot out behind you, point your toes, and then squeeze your right glute to lift your leg off the ground. Yeah, and then we're going to just slide your straight leg out to the side a little bit. And then we're just going to squeeze the glute so that our foot is on a 45-degree angle, just squeezing the glute so we go into the top of the bum, gluteus medius. So we do this when we're standing quite a lot, with the foot out to the side, like we're inline skating. Now you're doing this nasty one on the ground. Squeeze, 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 gluteus medius, top of the bum. Now bring it back and put your foot towards the ceiling and bring your knee up to the pelvis, so it's pelvis height. Now don't drop your knee down, keep it here. You might just stay static or try squeezing that glute to kick like a donkey kick, kicking your foot towards the ceiling. Little minute squeezes just of the right glute. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Now let the leg be straight, and we're going to swing this leg across like we're crossing our legs and just drop it onto the ground. Yeah? And then slide your weight over to the left so we stretch into the outside of the left hip. Good. Beautiful. And then just give your hips a little drop from side to side. Actually, do you know what? I'm finding it harder to do it with the bricks. I'm just going to go on my forearms here. Okay, let's do the other side. Left foot out, stretch. Squeeze the left glute so that you lift your leg off the ground. Make sure this isn't dropping too much, okay? We want to keep the rib cage here, front of the ribs, drawing back. Okay, what did I do? I went out to the side, so 45-degree angle, just swing your leg out to the side, and then we're doing little kicks. Your little toe edge is facing the ceiling. Little toe edge is slightly up towards the ceiling. Kick, 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 squeezing the top outer side of that left glute. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Smile. Bring your edges of your mouth up. And go, this is great. I love it. It's really good. Oh, okay, now bring your foot back. Did I do this one? I did, yes. Knee is at bum height, and then you just squeeze in gluteus maximus. Squeeze the glute, kick your foot up towards the ceiling. Keep those shoulders away from your ears, so if they've started to creep up towards your ears, draw them back. Woo, woo, kick, kick, kick. 3, 2, 1. Lengthen the leg, drop the foot across the other side. So you're crossing your legs, and then just slide your right hip towards the ground slightly. I'm just going to get you to kind of move until you find a good stretch. So just slide around a bit until you're like, oh, that's good. I feel this is good. Do a little stretch here. Whew. I can feel that. Ho, 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 ho. Alrighty, sliding down onto your mat. Take a moment, one hand on top of the other, forehead resting. And just rock your bottom from side to side. Let your shoulders be nice and relaxed. Jaw relaxed. Breathing in. Sigh the breath out. Okay, so come up onto your toes, slide your heels out, and just see if you can feel the stretch across the back of your pelvis here. And then put your heels in and see if you can feel the squeeziness around the sacrum, just in your bum. And then slide out again. Now, we're going to kind of leave our feet. Try and let your toes be relaxed on the ground. Leave the heels out, so we're going to stay here. So we're not pushing, but we're just kind of relaxing our feet. So the heels are out and the toes are slightly in. Forehead relaxes onto your hands. And then we're just focusing on the urethra and the external sphincter of the front of your pelvic floor. So the feeling is just like you stop yourself weeing quickly, okay? So suddenly near the loo and you stop yourself weeing, you clamp the hose closed, clamp, and then you want to pull that clamp upwards. So it's a zipping up of the tight high-waisted jeans. So clamp and zip, and then unzip and release. Clamp and zip, and release. Now, you're not allowed to let your bottom muscles that we've just been squeezing, they are not allowed to kick in here. The reason we're doing this with our feet is so it stops the activation of the glutes. Just focusing on the external sphincter, we want to plump it up, clamp, close it, and then lift it up, and then release. Close, lift up, release. Close, lift up, release. Do it with a puffy breath out, like you're blowing out a candle. On the activation. Breathe in to release. Squeeze and lift, release. Squeeze and lift, release. Hopefully you feel a little bit of activation of your lower belly, kind of wanting to suck up off the ground. That's what we're looking for. But it's coming from the pelvic floor. Now you will feel this a little bit around the anus as well. because that's where we have most of our pelvic floor muscles. So activating at the front is going to activate the back muscles as well, but I want you to try and focus on the front. Breathing out to lift, release. Breathing out to squeeze and lift, release. And one more. Squeeze and lift, and then release. Well done. If you've got bricks, we use them for this. So first of all, just sort of do a little bit more release here, because tension here just mucks up your posture so badly. So let's have our elbows just resting. Elbows resting on these bricks. Your arms are flopped out like a cactus. You know, a cactus in the desert? Yeah, like that. Now, take your right hand and put it on your brick, elbow up towards the ceiling, and then just press on the brick and bend your right knee so that you're looking over your right shoulder, and then the inside of the left shoulder is kind of just softening towards the ground. So you'll see it better when I do the other side. Little opening stretch into the front of the left shoulder will help you breathe, and drop down other side. So go back to your cactus shape, left hand on left brick, elbow up towards the ceiling, push your hand into the brick, bend the knee, swivel so you're looking out towards the ceiling or just to the wall, and then softening, draping, relaxing the inside of the right shoulder towards the ground. Very good. Releasing down. Now, if you've got bricks, again, you can do this without bricks. We're going to put the tops of the feet on the ground. We're going to activate pelvic floor, zipping up as if you've got those tight high-waisted jeans on. So keep that a little bit activated. And then lift up your head just a tiny bit. Take your bricks, and we're just going to keep the elbows bent and slide up and down. So we're going to slide. Elbows come down towards your pelvis. And we want to activate the upper back muscles and squeeze the little muscles around the spine. This is part of our core as well, so it's good for our posture. So you're doing snow angels, but with your face in the snow, basically. That's what we're looking for. And squeeze. You'll feel this in the back of the shoulders. And squeeze. Now, let's take these bricks downwards, so keep holding them, down towards your feet, like so. Now, see if you can squeeze both bum muscles, both glutes, and see if you can squeeze them so much that your feet just come off the ground. The hands are down, squeezing bum, feet off the ground. Still a little bit of a lift through the pelvic floor. And then see if you can squeeze a bit more to lift slightly off the ground. Keep the chin tucked in. Keep breathing, don't stop breathing. See if you can squeeze a tiny bit more, lifting up to full capacity. And then we're just going to flop down, so just go drop and flop. And maybe jiggle. Drop, flop, jiggle. Side to side. So that, Shalabhasana it's called, is a really good one for your posture. Let's do that one more time, because I know you're thinking, oh, that was amazing, Linda. Let's do that one more time. I can just hear your thoughts. All right, rolling up and back with your shoulders. Stretch your bricks down towards your toes. Pelvic floor lifting. Start to squeeze both glutes. And then lift those bricks. Pull the bricks down towards your toes. Chin's tucked in. Imagine you're a rocket and you're flying through the sky. Pull those bricks down towards toes, toes towards the wall behind you. Squeeze, lift, keep breathing. And then flop, drop, jiggle. Flop, drop, jiggle. You'll be pleased to know that that is it on your back. Oh, gosh, quite tired. Let's roll onto our backs. Roll onto our backs. How are we going for time? Good. All right. So if you've got bricks, you're going to put them under your heels now. If you haven't got bricks, then just heels on the ground. Let's just take a little moment to rest. Pelvic floor relaxed, lower belly relaxed. And you can just, let's just tap into thyroid. Little tap, 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 tap here. Down, and then just tapping around the digestion. So up the ascending colon on the right hand side, across the rib cage, down the descending colon on the left hand side. Up, round, down, little pats here. If you have, if you're constipated, then doing massage, you know, either fingers in or tapping like that is a really good idea. Just nice. Get everything going. We don't want to have constipation because A, it'll cause us to have worse incontinence, and B, we reabsorb estrogen. So if you are constipated, then please get in touch with me because we need to work on that. That's really important. Okay, right. Putting your heels into the ground, a bit more on this. Now we're going to blow the breath out as we do this so that we also get pelvic floor and deep core activation. So we're pushing the heels into the ground. We want the bum muscles to activate. We blow out as we come up like that. We pause here and then we just drop down and let your bum relax. Okay, relax. Push, lift, and relax. Breathing out, push through your heels. The heels connected to the hamstrings and into the glutes. Glutes connect into the sitting bones, and sitting bones connect into the pelvic floor. So we are activating pelvic floor muscles and strengthening the back line of the body. Breathing out, little puppy breath out, diaphragm lifting, pelvic diaphragm lifting, and down. 3, 2, 1, and half, and 0. Let's just hold 0 here. Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Now see if you can pull your shoulders slightly towards each other here. Slightly towards each other. Maybe even interlacing the hands behind your bottom. If that doesn't work, just palms on the ground. Just hold it. Now, imagine someone's got your knees and they're pulling your knees away from your chest. So slide your knees away from you. And we want to breathe and open the chest as we're breathing. Good. And then arms out and just slide your shoulders, and one vertebra at a time will come down very slowly, 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 slowly. Bring your knees in. Big circles, so go back into those hip joints. Big circles, one direction, other direction. Very good. We're going to do a little bit more release in just a second, but I just want to get pelvic floor and deep core muscles doing a little bit more work, tiny bit more work before we finish. Okay, so you can do this just with your hands if you haven't got bricks. Bring your knees, knees on top of pelvis, feet up. Flare your feet. Rib cage dropping down. So we don't want any gaps at the back of the rib cage. So if you're like this, I want you to, first of all, bring your hands, feet down, and then focus on flattening the back of the rib cage, not the lumbar, the thoracic. So this part here. Back of the rib cage down onto the ground. That activates the core. Then bring the knees up. Keep puffing your breath out here. So we're keeping everything high. Now, if you're comfortable with that, put hands or bricks onto thighs, and then you want to feel like you're stopping yourself weeing and passing wind. So activation through the whole of the pelvic floor. And then gently push your knees into your bricks or hands and gently push back. So you're just getting a stronger contraction. Little puffy breaths out. Good. And then hands or bricks on the outside of the knees. Pressing outwards with the knees, inwards with your bricks. Puff the breath out. And then Actually, it's easier without the bricks, easier with just your fists on the inside of the knees. Press inwards with your knees, outwards with your wrists. And you want to really kind of pull up through the vagina, okay? So the contractions right up through the cervix towards your tummy button. Woo, good. Have we got, yes we do, we've got time. Try doing this. Slide one brick underneath your pelvis. I'm going to give you some options. Yeah, okay, here we go. I'm going to give you some options. So you are either, if you're quite, new, we haven't been doing this for a while, I'm going to get you to breathe out, contract through the pelvic floor and zip upwards. So because we're on a slope now, we're going a little bit more into the rectum. So this is great if you've got rectocele. If you've got any kind of prolapse in the back through the bowel, this is a good one. So I'm going to breathe out and drawing up here. Okay, so if you want more, we're going to lift those legs as well. Same kind of thing. We're still doing this, breathing out, but we're going to hands down and we're just going to add as if you're on a penny farthing bike. And you do puffy breaths out to pull your legs towards you. Make it slow. The slower and the lower you go, the harder it is. If you're doing this, then you're just doing your legs. We want this to be working. Let's reverse it. Let's go backwards. Backwards penny farthing cycling. Pull your legs up. Breathe out as you pull the legs up. Woo! Well done. And then everybody, legs and arms up towards the ceiling. Just give it all a jiggle. Jiggle your jaw as well. We need to release everything now. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Let your belly be jiggling. Let your jaw be jiggling. And drop down. Take your brick away. Right ankle on top of left knee. Bring the left knee in. Give your hip glutes a bit of a tap here. I like to kind of massage across the sacrum, so just kind of rock from side to side a bit. And while our foot's here, give your just go underneath the ball of your foot. Give that a good slap, waking up the nervous system, wake it all up. Vitality, calm vitality. That's what we want. Good, other side, ankle on top of knee, knee bringing in, coming in, this bit here. Woo! Maybe a little bit of rocking as well, massaging across the sacrum area. Good, and then just waking up. Hat on the ball of the, on the sole of the foot. Keep this left knee up towards your chest. Drop the right leg down. You might need to use your brick underneath your thigh if that feels tight on your hip flexor. And then stretch that right arm above the head. And then breathe deeply. Remember, we're opening up the bottom of the lungs. So breathe in and use your inhalation to stretch the fascia, hydrate the fascia system. It's like our body glove underneath the skin surface. And then see if you can drift fingers and toes over to the left. So we stretch those deep core muscles. We open up the lungs, open up the rib cage, stretch into the back. Ooh, very good. Other side. Right knee up. Left leg and arm stretching. Breathe in. Stretch fingers and toes wide. Maybe drift them to the right side of your mat. Very good. And then back to where we started. Arms out to the side, legs as wide as your mat, and we're just doing that little wishy-washy, swishy-swashy. from side to side. It's just opening up. Oh, all of the squeezing we have been doing. And then like a starfish, palms up towards the ceiling, just let yourself flop. Chin is drawn in, feeling the back of your body melting into the ground. See if you can tap into a tingling sensation underneath your skin. Around the whole of your body. Just lifting up the corners of your mouth. Mentally saying to your body, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you can feel that tingling, that's the prana, the chi, the life force. And with all of the squeezing and lengthening and stretching and breathing, focusing on all these different aspects of the body, we've been opening up the nadi channels, the energy channels. Hence feeling the lovely fresh energy. Good. See if you can just pull yourself into a tiny little ball like this. If this doesn't feel good on your spine, roll to one side. If it feels good, we're just going to rock and roll up and down the spine, like so. This is like a reboot of the computer. Rock up and down. Reboot. Reboot. Come and just sit for a moment. Let your upper body go swirl like a big unwinding rope. And then stack your head bang on top of your neck. So find the spot where you're perfectly balanced. Let's look at my hair. Okay, crikey, look at that. Okay, shoulders nice and relaxed. Chest is open. Jaws relaxed. Head perfectly positioned. And just take a moment. So when we're in alignment, your deep core muscles will feel slightly switched on. They need to be slightly switched on all the time, just supporting your spine. So this should feel just a little bit activated. Not like you're squeezing your tummy, not like that, but just you're like, oh yeah, they're working. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Fingers out to the side, turn the palms to face the ceiling. Imagine you've got fresh, vibrant, white energy pouring into the hands. And then breathe in slowly, pull that energy up and around your body. Breathe in, and then breathe in again, double breath in. Hold the top of the breath, and then just let it go. Let's do two more. Breathe in. Breathe in again. Double breath in. And hold the top of the breath, lift your eyebrows, smile. Well done. Thank you for joining me. You did a lot of hard work today. Thanks so much. Namaste.